Hello friends, welcome to Snuggle Up. How was the story yesterday? Hope you loved it. And let's continue today's second part. Before that, take a deep breath. Now, let's start listening to the story. By daybreak, he had decided it was the right thing to do is to leave. Then the sunlight cast an early morning shadow against the walls that struck a strikingly similar profile to the outline of Princess Huan, and his whole body being flooded with longing for her. The feeling, nay, the certainty that he would prevail, flooded over him. In the morning, a chamberlain entered and said in a loud voice, "His Imperial Majesty, the Great Khan of China, sends me to ask if you have now reflected upon your intentions and have reconsidered." William responded in a clear and certain voice that he intended to stay. Servants arrived. They bathed the young prince, rubbed his body with scented ointments, and dressed him in white silk robes that were customary in the palace. They fed him a delicious meal. Glancing at him, he felt as if they felt pity for him. Finally, when the sun reached the top of the sky, the servants led William down many wide corridors to the huge golden double door that opened to the emperor's throne room. The room was already full of mandarins and ministers of state, and a dense crowd of onlookers surrounded the room and were held in place by a line of armed guards. The executioner, sword in hand, stood straight and tall by the golden door. William bowed before the emperor, and the Khan spoke. "I must say, I was disheartened to hear that you have chosen to remain. Somehow I thought you had more sense than that. Are you certain that you're willing to risk everything? And I mean everything for my daughter, Princess Huan?" The emperor's eyes gazed to the side where his daughter stood, her eyes blazing. Yet in those eyes, young William was sure he caught a glimpse of that hidden something that had entranced him before. "Yes," said William, not taking his eyes off the princess. "Then we begin," said the emperor. "Daughter, you know what to do." "Indeed, I do, father," said the princess. As she spoke, the prince's heart pounded all the more as her voice, cold and icy as it was, held within it that same glimmer of promise he had sensed from her eyes. The princess now started. "Listen carefully, for I shall not repeat what I say," said the princess, and recited in a clear voice these words. "This bridge is built of pearls most fair, high arching over waters grey. It rises swiftly in the air. To the heavens it makes its way. The tallest ships can pass below, yet of all burdens it is free. Broad as this bridge may seem to grow, when you draw near, it will still flee. Young William's mind raced from image to image. A bridge built of pearls, most fair, high-arching, tall ships can pass. What is it? What is it? What is it? Suddenly he smiled and answered. It arches over the water, and it is built of pearls. And yeah, I know the answer. This must be a rainbow. The princess shot a look to the chief mandarin, who arched one eyebrow. He announced to the Khan, "The rainbow is the correct answer." The crowd burst forth in a cheer, which was instantly silenced by the princess. "Perhaps the first riddle is answered," said the princess stiffly. "There are two more." She turned to William. "Hear me carefully. According to the rules I have devised, you may hear it twice if you require. What is that thing few value much, and yet it grazes any hand, formed to do hurt? Its power is such as, like the swords, none can withstand. It makes wounds, though no blood is shed, robs none, yet brings prosperity. Through all the world its rule has spread, softening life's severity." A feeling of panic raced through the young prince. "It grazes any hand. Its power is such none can withstand. Makes wound. Oh my God, I don't know the answer. What'll I do now?" William started shivering. He couldn't do anything. Almost he was standing at the edge. The princess snickered. May I hear the riddle a second time?" "So I thought," said the princess, and repeated the riddle. His mind raced again, and in an instant the answer washed over him. The answer must be the blow. The chief mandarin stood to make an announcement. "Oh my God! The answer is correct!" The crowd was abuzz until one stamped her foot, and all were instantly silenced. "Daughter, daughter!" the emperor rebuked her. "This is the first young man who has answered two of your riddles correctly. No one wants to see him die. You should offer him your hand right now in marriage. He deserves it." "Father, with all due respect," said Princess, "the rule is for 3 riddles, and 3 riddles it will be. No exceptions." She stared at the young man. "No special treatment." "Very well," said the father. "Yet I am prepared to offer him special treatment of my own. Young man, what is your name?" "I prefer to keep my name to myself, if you allow, your majesty," said William. "Very well, then, whoever you are, you have proven yourself brave and intelligent. If you resign from this test right now, I am prepared to offer you a position as Imperial Counselor of State. Do you accept?" "Your Majesty, indeed I am honored," said the prince. The prince's mouth opened in protest, but before she could speak, the prince added, "Yet I decline. Our agreement was for 3 riddles, and the 3 riddles it shall be." The princess looked satisfied. "The last riddle you will not find so easy," she said, "as it is the 3rd riddle. 3 times you may hear it. Then you must answer, and here it is. I know a picture fair to see, a picture full of fire and light. This picture changes constantly, yet it is ever fresh and bright. A narrow frame contains it all, yet all great things that move the heart. Although this picture is so small, they reach us only by its art. Fear washed over Prince William's body, a picture fair to see, full of fire and light. He thought that was his last day. Definitely the wedding is not going to happen, but he can't accept so soon. So he asked again, "One more time, if you please." Then again he asked for a third reading, which was granted. "You must have memorized it by now, clever young man," said Princess. "Now you must respond." Indeed, he could repeat it by heart, but what good did that do? Somehow he suspected the key to the riddle itself was the key to the prince's heart. Had she hidden a clue in it, or was she imagining that? What was it about her that first captured his heart? Suddenly he knew what the answer must be. With his heart pounding, he said, "The answer is the eye." At these words, the chief mandarin gasped. The other mandarins cheered, and at once the crowd exploded with joy and relief. Some in the crowd fainted. Some in the crowd fainted and needed to be carried outside for fresh air. Trumpets, drum rolls, whistles, what else? Everything was there. It was a pandemonium until the emperor called, "Silence!" At once, an instant hush fell upon the crowd. The emperor strode toward Prince William and embraced him. "Welcome to our family, young man. No one deserves this place more than you." "Father, wait!" called Prince Juan. "Just one more riddle, please." "What?" he thundered. "I have been patient. Stick to the rules." "You said 3 and I agreed. We have stick to the rules." And the young man answered all the 3 riddles. "Now you must keep quiet. He will have your hand in marriage and the wedding will take place tomorrow night." The princess rushed to her father, falling on his knees and clutching his robes. "Father, please," she said desperately. "Your Majesty, if I may speak," said William, raising his hand. "Of course, young man," said the emperor. "I would have granted the princess her 4th riddle. But since you have denied it, we must all respect your royal decree. Yet, may I propose a proposition of my own? I propose a riddle to the princess. If she guesses it correctly, then I will remove my claim to her hand and will leave here immediately and never return. Since I can see that she does not care for me, if she does not guess correctly, then the princess must swear that she will marry me freely and of her own free will." Again the crowd gasped, staring and pointing at the young man in shock that he would keep such a matter open, especially when he had all but won the hand of the princess. "Very well," said the king. "And you, my dear, do you swear to agree to the terms?" "I swear it," said the princess. Now William started. "I'm not going to ask you a big riddle. Just tell me what is my name and from what land do I come?" Another murmur swept across the crowd. What was the name of this young man? Did anyone know? "Well, I will answer your riddle tomorrow," said the princess, her head held high. "Tomorrow?" roared the emperor. "This young man did not ask you to wait overnight before he answered your riddles. How dare you bend the rules at this point?" But again Prince William interfered. "Your Majesty, I grant the princess her wish. She may deliver her answer tomorrow." And again the prince was made to stay at the castle. Princess Huan had one more day. While the prince was resting in his room, in his dream he heard the doorknob to his room turn open. Was it a dream? He started up from bed and stared at the door. Indeed, it was not a dream. The large door was slowly cranking open. "Announce yourself," said the prince, reaching for his knife. "Shh!" cried a female voice. "I have come to you at great peril to myself." "What do you mean?" "I am Adelma, a slave girl. My mistress is Princess Huan." "Come in," said the prince, climbing out of his bed and straightening the covers. "What brings you here at this time of night?" "I must whisper," she said. "In this palace terrible things happen to a woman who ventures to the men's apartments. I can't stay long, but you must be warned." "Warned of what?" "Shh! Talk slowly. Your life is in danger. My mistress has bribed 2 bodyguards to stab you on the way to the throne room tomorrow." "What?" he cried. "But why?" "She is such a proud woman. She cannot stand that you answered all her riddles, but that she cannot solve yours. Surely you'll realize she is capable of such a vile deed." The prince's head was spinning. It's true. She had sent many young men to their deaths before him. So why would he be any different? But he could not believe the slave lady. "Why do you want to help me? Just risking your own life." "As soon as I saw you, I fell in love with you. Please, I know all the secret passages. Let us both leave out of this palace and live happily." But Prince William was not ready to leave the palace with her. He was in a trauma. He started crying. "Oh my God, what a life it is! I thought tomorrow she would be my wife, but she has planned to kill me. My only comfort is that my father Timur and my mother Elmazen will never know what fate befell on their son William. Now, Mommy and Daddy, I'll reach you soon." He was crying, but again Adelma urged him. "Please, Prince, let us leave from this place." He refused, and he said that he had to stay in that palace whatever happens. "Lovely lady, I am touched by your sentiments, yet somehow I know that Princess Huan will not betray me this way." "Phew, then it's your own wish," she said, and she left the door. For the rest of the night till dawn, the prince paced from one end of his compartment to the other. He didn't sleep even a bit. Very slowly, the sky outside changed from a pitch black to a very dark blue, then to a lighter shade of blue, then to the bird's announcement of dawn. Soon a knock came on the door, signaling the arrival of the servants with his breakfast. As the servants piled in with his meal, he wondered, did they know? As they fed him, bathed him, and dressed him, perhaps more roughly than necessary, he wondered, is that the one? No, maybe the guy who's carrying the dress is the one. No, maybe the guy who's serving me the breakfast. No, Maybe the guy who's standing outside the door? He was in a total dilemma. He doubted each and every bodyguard he crossed until he reached the courtroom. Till he saw the golden door, he was not in his full sense. He was motionless, stern, and he had no idea what he was doing. As soon as he entered the double door of the throne room, he became a little relieved. Nobody would kill him in front of so much crowd. He felt he was a bit safe. The emperor spoke. "Good morning, all. Now perhaps at last we will come to an end of this trying affair." He frowned at his daughter. "Either you, my dear daughter, know the answer to this young man's riddle, in which case he is set free, or you do not, in which case the two of you will marry forthwith." The princess stepped forward. A hush swept the crowd. She spoke in clear, loud voice. "With your father as Khan Taimur and your mother as Queen Elmazan, you were raised as no ordinary man, but as Prince William of Astrakhan. Am I right?" She smiled. Prince William fainted. The guards sprinkled water on his face, and he woke up. He didn't know what was happening around him. The princess basked in the moment. "It was a trifle to send my loyal servant Adelma to your rooms last night. And now you said your whole history to her. It was a trick." The king was very angry, and he started yelling at his daughter. "How could you cheat him? He didn't cheat you, but you started cheating in the competition." The mandarins woke up, and the chief mandarin said, "Your Majesty, there was no rule said that we can't cheat in the competition." So the emperor kept quiet. "Okay, my dear daughter, you need not marry this noble prince. Young man, Prince William, you are free to go." But suddenly, Princess cried, "Stop! I'm ready to marry this guy, if he still wants to marry me." She extended her jeweled hand, and he grasped it. "When you answered my riddles, I knew that I was falling in love with you, though I could not let you see it. Yet I also wanted you to see that I could answer a riddle of your own. Now we are both free to choose our destinies. So I ask you, do you want me?" The crowd had never been more charged with excitement. "I am ready, my dear princess," whispered William, and hence the king announced the marriage of William and Princess Huan the next day. At that moment, the slave girl Adelma burst forth and fell on the knees before them. "I'm sorry, I'm ruined," she cried. But the king forgave her, and she was even given with good wealth and treasures. She was one of the main reasons for this marriage to happen. So she also got her freedom. She is no more a slave. Then the wedding took place in a very grand manner. Everyone lived happily ever after. What else? Then Prince William took the help of the Chinese king, and then went to war on the king who took his own country. He won the war, and he took back Astrakhan, and he sat as a king and ruled his empire as a proud and kind king. Okay, friends, now you all go to sleep. Have a good sleep. Good night. Sweet dreams.